Hi everyone. So this is the second video of the series where we are learning GROQ. In the first video we saw filtering, order, indexing, slicing and other stuff. In this video we'll explore the projections in GROQ. With projections we can get only what we want from the JSON objects. We choose the properties we want in our results or even create new properties on the fly. So let's start with the movie schema. So let's say we query the movie schema. So over here, this is already what we already saw this. Over here we are getting a list of JSON objects, but the problem is there are a lot of properties that we don't want in our result, like the created at, underscore id, rev, type, updated. These are all things we don't want. Let's say we want only the title and the release date. We want the cast members. So let's just get these three fields. So we want title, we want cast members, and we want the release date. So release date. So over here you can see whatever properties we want, we can next to the filter we can put those properties in the curly braces, and this looks very similar to GraphQL query, but the only difference is in GraphQL we don't put these commas after the field name, but in GROQ we have to put, and this looks pretty similar to GraphQL query. So now when we run this, we'll see that for each JSON object we have cast members, release date, and the title. I think the release date, I have missed one thing. Once again, I might have misspelled release date. Okay, so the fine. So now you can see we have the cast member, we have release date and title for each JSON objects. So now let's do one thing. Let's create a new property. We can create let's say we want the members count, the cast members count in the result. So what we can do is we can create a new property. So how do we create it? It's exactly the same. It's just that it has to be in double quotes. So double or single quote, it has to be in quotes. So cast member count. So over here now we will we can put any value. I'll just try to show you. So if I just put 1, so you'll see cast member value 1 is with all the JSON objects. Now the thing is we want to count the cast members because it's an array, so we can count. Over here we'll use a global function that is count. So count is a global function. It is in the global namespace, so we don't have to mention the namespace. We'll see about the namespace in the next video where we'll talk about mostly the global functions. So with global function, it means that the function is readily available. We can directly use it. So inside the count we have to pass whatever we want to count. So we will be counting count cast members. Now if I run this, you'll see we have a new property added in the result, cast member. It has the count 5, it has 3, so this looks good. Now next what we can do. So we already saw in the previous video that we learned about order function. It's a pipe function. So what we do is but over there we were not using projections, we were putting order right after the filter, but now I'll show you we can do that even after projection. So if we want to, let's say, order the result based on the cast member count, so we can do it. So after the projections we have put a pipe operator, and then in the order we can pass any of these fields. So but we want to sort it or order it based on the cast member count. That is why I have passed this. So over here you can see it is sorted in the ascending order, 3 3 3 5 and 5. Now it's not just that, we can add a filter as well. Like let's say that over here I'll remove this order. Let's say that over here we already saw that we have cast member count as 3 and 5. Let's say we want our result to have it should have the cast member count, let's say, greater than 3. We don't want to see the movie which has cast with less than 3. So let's say cast member count greater than 3. So this is our filter. So now if we run it, you can see that the result only has the movies with cast member count of 5. So over here you can see we can apply filter at multiple stages, like at the beginning, because the data flows from left to right. So over here it was the whole data set, then we filtered out just the movie. Then over here we, in the projections, we calculated the cast member count. Now over here we have another filter. Now if we want, we can put another projection, and in this we just want, let's say we don't want everything, we just want the title. So if we run, so over here you can see we get the title of the movie where the cast member count is greater than 3. So I just want to show that we can put these projections filter on it multiple times. I mean, it's not that we just have to put it, we can do it just once, we can do it multiple times. And even for the syntax, it's not necessary to follow exactly like this. If you think it's not readable, you can put those in separate lines. It'll work. So it's not supposed to be in the same line. Now let's say that I'll remove this projection and filter, and I'll put it how it was. Yeah, now let's say that we want a list of character names in each movie. So if I expand the cast member each JSON object, so you can see we have a character name in here. So let's say that in the results, instead of this whole array of JSON objects, I just want the name of characters, not the whole stuff. So in that case, let's create another property, and we'll say character names. So over here what we can do is, because cast members is an array, so we'll put it here, and it's an array, so we will put 2 square brackets, and we want the character names for each character. That is why we have nothing inside the square brackets. And what we want from the from each object, JSON object inside the array, is the character name. So we'll do something like this: cast members with square brackets, nothing inside. That means it will give us the character name of each item of the array. So if I run this, so now you can see we have the cast members also. So this is the cast members, which has the list of list of JSON objects, and we also have character names where the proper character names are listed. Now let's say that we will do one thing based on some we also have a popularity property, there was something popularity. Yeah, we have popularity property as well. So for now I'll just remove the character name because I just wanted to show you. So that is done, and let me remove this also just for the sake of simplicity. Okay, so I'll just keep these three. Yeah, now the thing is, let's say I want to put a condition based on popularity. Like I want to create a new property. Let's say shall I watch or something like this, shall I watch this movie based on popularity. So I want to for each movie I want to put some string here where I will say that should watch or maybe should not watch, something like that. So there are multiple conditions because if the popularity is, let's say, more than 80, so I'll say I must watch it. If the popularity is between 50 to 80, I'll say maybe sometimes. Or if the popularity is less than 50, I'll say I'll not watch it. So I think you get my point that there are multiple conditions. So if we have such a scenario where we want to based on multiple conditions we want to get to a result and assign the value to a property, so we can use what's something, yeah. So in that case we can use select function. So select function is also readily available. We can just directly use it, and the syntax is inside the select function we will be putting all our conditions. So our first condition is, let's say if the popularity is greater or equal to 80. So in that case I'll say you must watch. Okay, and if the popularity is greater than 50 and is less than 80, so I'll say on Sundays, maybe on Sundays I'll watch this movie. And if the popularity does not fall in both the conditions, so I'll say don't watch, something like this. So I think you get the point that based on popularity I am trying to assign these values, whether I have to watch it or Sundays. If the value of popularity does not fall in both these conditions, so it should return don't watch. So now if I run this, you can see that based on popularity, shall I watch, it says must watch, it says don't watch, it says must watch, don't watch. So over here you can see that we can create new properties based on existing property values. We can put some conditions as well and return the result in whatever way we want. Okay, now let's move towards expanding of a reference document. So if I just go back to the movie, yeah, so in the movie schema we have a list of cast members, and each cast member you can see has a person property, and this person property is basically referencing to the person schema. So now if we want to know the name of this person, so it is not readily available because it's referencing to another document. So how can we expand this or dereference it? So in GROQ there is an operator which we call as dereference operator, or we use it for expanding the reference. So it is just an arrow like this. We use it for expanding the reference. So how do we do it? So we'll try doing it now. So let's say that we want to we have title, and let's say that in this we want the name of the main cast. We'll create a new property, main cast, and this main cast is basically the first member, the first item of the cast member. I mean, it's not actually, I have just randomly put these are just random names. I think not in any order, or maybe in order. But we're just trying to pull the name of the first item of the cast members for now, and then we'll see how we can do it for all the members. So in order to do that, what we can do is we'll create a new property. That's fine. And we have cast members, because cast members is available. Now inside the cast member we have person. Now because cast member is an array and we want the first item of this array, so we'll say 0th, or the first element of this array, cast members, and we want to expand person property. So we'll say dot person. So till this point, if I run, it's not expanded yet. You can see that it is still a reference. So in order to expand it, what we have to do is we have to just put this one arrow. And now if I run, so you'll see it has expanded. So it has all the data from the person schema. Now again, it has a few fields that I don't want. I just want, let's say I just want the name. So I'll just, because after expanding the person, I can see we have a name. So if I just put name, so you can see I got just the name. But again, after this, it's not we might be interested in not just the name, but maybe 2-3 other properties. Let's say we might be interested in the slug as well. So in this case, what you can do is inside the curly braces, whatever we want, let's say we want name and we want slug. So slug dot current it is, but it will not take I mean, because we are fetching a nested property value, so we have to assign it to a property. So we'll say slug, let's say slug, or we can put it in separate lines. Yeah, now if we run it, so you can see we have the title, the movie title, and then in the main cast we have expanded the first cast member, the person property, because it was referencing to a person's schema. We have expanded it using the arrow operator, and from the result of that expansion we want the name and slug. So that's what we are getting over here. Now the thing is, this is working fine, but let's say we want the name of all the cast members. So in that case, let's change the property name to all cast, and as we saw in one of our previous examples, if we want to access all the items of the array, then we do not give the index, we just give the empty square brackets. And now if I run it, so you can see in the all cast we have the name and slug for each for each cast member. Okay, now I think this is fine. Now let's go to a slightly complex query. Now what we want to do is we in the next query that we are trying to write is, what we want is that we will try to list the title of the movie of each person in our person schema. So I'll just put it here. So this is our this is the query that we'll be writing right now. So over here, let's go back to the person schema, and if I run it, so over here you can see we have the name of a lot of people here. Now what we are trying to do is we want the movies of each of these persons from our movie schema. So this is kind of a join between two tables or two schemas, because we are like querying this schema, and we are trying to fetch the movie names these people have worked on. So so in this we will be talking about the caret operator, or the parent scope that I was talking about in the previous video. So now we will be using it. So let's say that this is the now this running this query has given us all the persons JSON objects. So let's say we'll just put name so that we have the name for each person. Now movies they have worked on. Movies. So the movies that they have worked on, how can we know it? So in order to get the movies they have worked on, we have to query the movies schema. To do that, we have to again write a filter. So again it's the whole data set. From the whole data set we are querying, we are filtering movies, and inside the movie what exactly are we looking for? So inside the movie we are looking for all the movies. We want to look for the cast members because in every movie there is a property called cast members, and every cast members has a property person, and each person has a reference to this person's ID. So if I I'll just quickly I just want to quickly open quickly run that movies. I just want to like show you. So what I'm saying is, when over here this is in the movies, what we are trying to do is, in every movie there is an array of cast members. Inside the cast members there is a property person, and every person has a reference. It has a reference to this person. It has a reference to one of the JSON object of this person schema. So how do we find that? So in order to find that, there is a public function which is called references. So references. So inside the references, whenever we give the ID, ID of whatever ID you give, it will look for the whole data set and find the documents that has a reference to that ID. So let's say I give the ID for this person here. Let's say the ID for person is ID. So now this references will search the whole data set and it will find for a reference to this ID. So I think if we are able to achieve that, then we can quickly find the title of this movie. So how do we do that? How do we get the ID of person when we are already in movie? So in order to get the ID of person, we have to go to the parent scope. This is the parent scope and we are currently in the movie. So to get the parent scope, we use caret. Now parent scope, once we're in the parent scope, we can access all the properties of the parent. So over here we want to access the ID property of the parent. So what we'll do is, from the parent we are trying to access the ID property of the parent. So in the references we are passing the person ID inside all the JSON objects of type movie. Now this will give us all the movies with which this person has done. Now we can get the title. Once it is filtered, we can get the title. Now if we run this, so you can see so you can see only one movie by this person. Bill Irwin is in Interstellar. So yeah, Matthew is in Doctor in Interstellar, and Jessica is in both the movies. Matt Damon is in Martian, Interstellar. So our query looks fine, because over here we are we want the name of the person and all the movies this person has done. So this is correct. So over here you can see it's like a join between two schemas, and we also saw how we can use caret to get the parent scope. Now one last thing in this video that I want to talk about is the ellipsis. So yeah, let's say type movie. So let's say that when we query this movie, what I want is to send the title in lowercase. I mean, it's a very strange requirement, but just I want to show you something. So what I want is I want to send everything, but with title in lowercase. So I'll say title. Now there is a global function lower, which will lowercase whatever string you pass to it. So now if I do something like this, and if I run, so you can see that I get only the title and I don't get the other properties of the JSON objects. So what we can do is we can use ellipsis, that is 3 dots. We'll put 3 dots and a comma. So now what it will do is it will list all the properties of the JSON objects. Now if I run this, you can see all the properties are there and the title is in lowercase. But one thing to note over here is ellipsis will put all the properties, and then if there are some additional properties which are like duplicates, so the one which is at the bottom will take preference. So ellipsis has title, but because I have declared title again, that is why my title has taken preference and this is the lowercase. If I put ellipsis under title and if I run it now, so you'll see the title is back with the capital case, because it got overwritten by ellipsis. So we have to make sure that if we want our if we don't want our created properties to be overwritten, so either we can name it something else, or we should just put it above so that it does not get overwritten. If I run it now, so this is fine. So this is all in this video. I will see you in the next video, which is about global functions. Thank you.